Hey y'all, welcome back to Naturally Becoming. Now, I'm not trying to make y'all agree with me, I'm just trying to make y'all see with me. Yeah, that's my little catchphrase. I'm testing it out. But yeah, I'm just trying to get y'all to see a different perspective, even if it's not aligned with what you already believe, or maybe you are already into manifestation. I felt like it would be a good way to kind of leave no pressure for you to take what I'm saying. You could kind of apply it for yourself and see if it works for you. And if not, at least you just opened your mind to something else. So I wanted to talk about shifting realities because in my definition of what life is, ever since I come across manifestation, I believe that we're experiencing infinite numbers of realities in every second. So shifting realities is not something that we have to do or, to try hard. It's a natural byproduct of, how life works. So basically what that means is that in every moment we're shifting realities. But since we have the collective agreement that life is something, solid and, not drastically changing, most of us are still creating the same looking environments on a daily basis, meaning you're going to be living in the you're going to think you're living in the same house, but technically in every second you're shifting reality. So you could be in a different house in different moments of time. And what I mean is just like an example. There was someone who had a story wishing they had like a second tap on some floor in their house, right? And their house didn't have that, but they did revision, or they basically manifested having a second tap, and they literally had pictures of when it wasn't there, when they first took the picture, and then they took another picture of where it appeared. So that's an example. And they did that, like, I think it was over the next day. So they literally shifted to a reality where their house had a second tap for them to do, I think it was like laundry or something in their house. So that's an example, right? So things being there that wasn't there before. Like if you lost something, like me, I know I had thought my passport was lost for years. But one day I was cleaning and I looked under the couch and there it was. Now, people would say, well, you just lost it and it was just there. But no, I was manifesting it back because it's been a certain amount of time, even though that didn't matter. But it was the path of least resistance for me to finally shift to the reality where I found that passport. So that's kind of how I analyze things in terms of looking at shifting realities. Like another example is I had been following a channel and they used to talk about spirituality stuff, but one day I was like looking for evidence that I shifted to reality, right? And one thing was this person no longer had the channel and they were doing completely different videos. And for me, that was the evidence that I provided for myself to know that I am changing, even if I don't feel it. There are individual things about the reality that I'm observing that has shown me some changes. So that's kind of like an acknowledgement of, okay, now I'm in a different reality because this is definitely different than what I had known to be true. But basically, I wanted to talk a little bit more about what is life. So, like I was saying, we're shifting the realities constantly. That's something that's natural. It's just the degrees of change that we observe are going to vary depending on what you believe is possible. So, if you don't believe in instant manifestation, then you're going to experience periods of time before certain changes happen. Like if you want to manifest moving out, right, and you want to do it in like a day or two, that's a little bit quicker than the average person that would spend months, if not a year, searching for apartments and going through that. You could manifest it instantly where someone comes up to you and say, oh, I have a place. I heard you were looking for something. And literally in the next day, you shifted rapidly to the reality where you're living in your own place. Now, just in terms of, like things like your physical body too. Like for me, I had this cut that was such a deep wound in my finger. And based on my belief system, it only took me like less than a week for it to close up. And I still have a slight scar, but I shifted to the reality where that was healed for the most part. I wanted to not have a scar anymore, but that's just another example. Like if you let yourself just observe how things change, you'll see that you do have more of more evidence of things naturally shifting without you even needing to do anything. So the fact that you're consciously trying to manifest and move to other realities at a more rapid pace, it's possible. So things like instant manifestation is definitely possible. It's just you're creating greater degrees of change in for us in our terms in a shorter period of time. But time isn't real. So even if you deconstruct the belief of time and not allow it to be a limiting belief for you anymore, that can also help you shorten, how long you experience new things in your life. Because if you wanted to move out or something, you could shift to the reality where you're already living in that place. But the average person would probably have like a shock and go through, feeling crazy, like, how did I get up in this random home? Like, where am I? But if you're cool with manifesting that fast, then it wouldn't be something that's so extremely unusual or doesn't feel normal to you. So it's about building the assumption for however fast you want things to happen, and opportunities and resources and things to come to you. So hold on one second, I forgot the other point I wanted to make. But yeah, so what I was going to say is that, well, a lot of it comes down to collective agreements, meaning what society believes, because we're all kind of using the same rules and same laws, like how we believe in gravity and other stuff like that, to hold society together. So the tricky part about shifting reality is not allowing yourself to be swayed by what other beliefs other people have. Like, it doesn't matter if other people don't believe in manifesting, or that you can shift realities, or that we're already doing it. Everybody's going to have what they need in their awareness for them to experience their life in the way that they've chosen to. So you don't have to convince anyone. It's more about convincing yourself in terms of making things easy. So basically, I wanted to bring up this shifting reality to bypass the struggle and the fear and the frustration and the doubt. It helps you drop certain identities. Like, if you feel like you're in struggle or victim mentality, or having a hard time accepting your assumptions so that you can manifest the experiences you want, you really have to just decide, okay, as someone who manifests instantly, how would I be thinking? And use your thoughts and affirming as a way to bridge your mindset and step into that reality first. It's a mental and psychological thing before the manifestations come. That's why people say like robotic affirming and all of that, because by putting your awareness on the mentality that you have in this ideal reality, that's how you shift your consciousness, and then reality will conform around it. So it's the same thing if you want money or you want to be debt free. You keep telling yourself, I'm debt free, money comes to me easily, I never have to worry about money. If you want to move out, I love my new apartment, I love my new home, I love having friends over, I love that I got my apartment instantly, I always manifest instantly. If you want to have appearance changes, I love my body has always been beautiful, my body looks exactly the way that I want to. Like, you can do those types of all-encompassing of affirmation, so you don't have to sit there and go through all the details, like, oh, my skin, my weight, my legs, my feet, or whatever it is that you might want to change. Even with the mentality change, because that is really at the structure of everything. You could say, I've always believed in myself. I've always believed I could have everything that I want. I've always had courage. I've always had confidence. I've always been such a positive person to be around. If you want friends, I've always been good at making friends. Everybody always invites me out. I've always been confident. I've always been the most happiest person in the world. Like, I've always loved my life. Like, you can affirm your way to any reality that you want, but you can't keep telling an old story, because then you shift back to a similar looking reality where you don't have the thing that you want, where you're still identifying as that old person, when technically, as soon as you decide you shift, it's an instant change. It's just that reality is going to have to mold itself to what you're saying and what you're commanding, but you can't be flip-flopping and changing your mind and assuming it doesn't work. So it's about sticking to whatever story until it comes to fruition and fulfillment. So it's just about making a decision and actually sticking to it, and not wavering, no matter how similar the realities outside of you appear to be.